This is the Bloody Disgusting Podcast Network.
We're gonna carry on and plan the sequel, because let's face it, baby, these days, you gotta have a sequel. Ah!
And welcome back to Micro Queers. It's your weekly roundup of queer horror shorts, and I'm Joe.
And I'm possessed. I mean, I'm Trace.
Wait, are you still suffering from Halloween syndrome?
Oh my god. Okay, everyone, we were discussing Michael Cera's macabre musical short, Possessed. And I have to say that Joe sent this to me and goes, it's a weird one. And as soon as it started, I was like, it's a Trace one.
Well, it's weird, right? Okay, so in case folks haven't watched the short for this week, and of course we've, as always, included the link in the show notes, this is by far the most recent short that we've ever covered because it was literally produced for Halloween. Because it was literally produced for Halloween. No. Now you got to keep those in there because it's funny.
No, it's
It was
fine.
produced for Halloween 2020, so this was filmed during the pandemic, and if you look during the short, you'll see the two actresses are actually keeping 6 feet apart.
Oh, okay. No, I figured it was filmed during COVID because there's the references to masks and how Halloween is canceled and stuff, but that makes total sense.
I mean, at parts. I think in the opening... So,
Oh,
again,
yeah, they were like holding each other and groping each other during the music video portion.
And that's why I loved it. So I wanted to program this immediately because it's obviously referencing Halloween. We're only 1 week out. But also because I love this idea that this is partial short horror and partial music fucking video. Love it.
It was, I agree, I really liked it. It honestly reminded me of, like, if it's even possible, like a campier, crazy ex-girlfriend.
Okay. Yeah.
Because, it's about a woman who's obsessing over, granted, in this case, it's friendship more so than it is, like, you know.
No, it is not, dude. She shows up in a wedding dress.
I know, but she gives her a friendship necklace. Granted, it's a rainbow friendship necklace. But, so I had to watch it twice because... I don't know if we talked about this on air, but I have a thing with music where, like, my brain doesn't process everything. So with a music video, like, I'm looking at things, but I'm also hearing the beat of the song, but then I'm also trying to, like, understand and listen and process the lyrics. And so there's 3 different things to do at once that I have a lot of trouble doing.
Sure.
So really, when we got to the part, like, when we got to the spoken part, because the music video stops at the 2-minute mark of this 6.5-minute video, I was like, wait... who is this woman? But I really liked it. It was really fun. It's like this like 80s synth poppy thing, and it's just a really, really fun time.
So one of the things that I really gravitated to was it reminded me of how old school music videos were. And I've talked about this a little bit on the main feed before, how in high school I would go home and I would watch music videos, like I would watch Much Music, which is the Canadian equivalent of MTV. We would have video countdowns, so you would get to see the biggest music videos of the week counted down from 20 to 1. And I remember like one of my, I don't want to say seminal moments, but I remember it very fondly, is when Bush, or in Canada as they were called, Bush X, they debuted the video for, what is it, Fly or Greedy Fly?
I don't know what that means.
You're useless for this.
Nope. Yeah, I don't know that.
Anyway, people who know music will be like, oh, right, yes, it's like this iconic 8 to 9 minute music video. Because back in those days, music videos were really long. They were almost like thriller-esque music videos where they would have a narrative intertwined with the music.
I like that. And like honestly, like the songs, I think that's why I gravitate towards musical theater so much, because the songs are inherently like story based. Like my favorite Cher song is a song called Dark Lady, which literally has like a plot from beginning to end.
Okay.
Because it's easier for me to like hear that as opposed to where if it's like, you know, if it's more poetry, it's more, you know, I don't know. I have a harder time with music that isn't story based. And I realize that's like, I'm the minority with that, but
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an acquired taste. I think your references to Crazy Ex-Girlfriend are a little bit apt. I mean, if people know, so this song is an original song that was made for the short. It was written by the director Michael Zara, but also Markaholic, aka Mark Byers, and he is responsible for doing a lot of the remixes on recent seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh, that makes sense. Well, no, because I was trying to look at the cast because the woman that plays Alex, the stalkee, I was like, she looks so familiar. It's because she's on The Resident. She had a recurring arc last year. But Michael Zara, writer-director of the short, he wrote for 17 episodes of the TV show Major Crimes, the spinoff of The Closer. And Kieran Giovanni, who plays Alex, was a lead role in that show. And then Natalie Linder, who plays Stalker Becky, she had like a 2-episode arc. But the funny, and this is like not relevant at all, but it kind of is. Lander placed 5th in the MTV reality show Legally Blonde the Musical, The Search for Elle Woods.
Right. Oh, I remember when they were doing that. They did a Canadian version here with Andrew Lloyd Webber where they were trying to cast a new Maria for The Sound of Music. And it was so bad. That one sounds much better.
Well, because I was like, wait, so Laura Bell Bundy won that. But no, Laura Bell Bundy, a.k.a. Young Bonnie Hunt from Jumanji, she was actually cast in it from the get-go. But then when she was leaving, this reality show was about who was going to replace her.
I see.
So,
okay.
Anyway, not related. But let's talk about the queerness in this then. Because we are kind of dealing with a bit of predatory lesbianism, are we not?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely falling into that staple wheelhouse of someone who has dissociated from reality. So in this case, we've got a woman who has fallen in love with her Peloton-esque friend. So
Wait, I have had so many people say the word Peloton to me lately, and I'm like, what the fuck is a Peloton? Is it just a bike?
It is, yeah, it's a certain type of exercise.
Is it a brand, or is it like a type?
So it is, from what I know of it, it's a very specialized type of exercise bike that comes with a video screen in it, and in those screens you get access to specialty classes.
I thought it was just all these like rich fit gays that were trying to show off to me.
Still, yes, correct. It's not a cult, it's Peloton.
I'm sure it's not.
We just got a bunch of hate mail, I guarantee it.
If I exercise, I probably know that. But don't worry, when COVID's over, I'll totally exercise. Like, that'll happen.
Right, you're going to drop that COVID 30 like nobody's business.
I think I'm at the COVID 20, but I'm working my way up to the COVID 30.
All right, yeah. I mean, you did talk about ice cream after this recording, so working your way.
Honestly, I really, really, really enjoyed this short. My only issue was that, yeah, like, we're dealing with, a very sad, unfortunate queer character, presumably queer character. I'm gonna say probably is dealing with maybe, I mean, again, I'm pulling from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend here, but dealing with maybe some borderline personality disorder.
A little bit, yeah. The inability to recognize what is real and what is not, particularly when she shows up and this woman is like, we've exchanged pleasantries online. Like, I have supported you in your fitness goals and you have driven across the country and shown up in a wedding dress at my house.
I don't know about you, and I mean, the line when she's like, so we're not friends, it really, really hit a little close to home for me with our person who's kind of got like,
are you referencing your stalker? Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of ours because basically we have a person who has who communicated with us a lot, who got maybe like a little bit too comfortable, and we had to kind of like push things back. And
right
now this person likes to comment on a lot of our articles, and like anyone who comments, and he'll reply to them and say, oh, that's cool, just don't try to be their friends. And there's been other instances, but it was like one of those things where I was like, oh god, this is like a common thing. Like, but it's very single white female too.
I think particularly with online because there's a frequency, right? There's an accessibility. So in the case of Possess, the short that we're talking about, this is a relationship where these people were probably interacting on the daily. And for one person, it was a business transaction. And for another person, it was like, I'm in lockdown. All I've got is this guy that I don't presumably enjoy very much because she ends up murdering him and leaving him in their bed. But she thinks she has developed a relationship, and it's really hard to suss out the nature of what friendship means, and particularly in this case where you've got somebody who looks at it in a very different lens than the other person.
Well, and this also, I mean, because this does not take, it's weird. Like, the tone of this is very bright and bubbly. Like, even the murder scene the suicide scene when she does take her own life, it's done very like bright. It's all brightly lit. It's very poppy. So
because the song is kicked back in at this point, and the song is like a jammer. So
it is a jammer, and I totally want to download it. But it's one of those things where it's like, okay, so you're taking this serious subject, but it's kind of taking the Lifetime movie approach to it, right? Where it's just like, your Lifetime horror thrillers, which is not bad, but if you really want to dig into the like maybe how it does a disservice to it, it's kind of minimalizing mental illness. We have a queer character who dies by suicide because she can't be with the person she loves.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, obviously suicide among queer folk is more common than it should be, but it's all presented in this bright, bubbly package and not really given any weight. Now, I don't think really that's a problem given like the piece as a whole, but I can see how someone could watch this and be like, that doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah, it's a tricky time, right? I mean, I think that we're still desperately seeking representation. The fact that this is a queer writer-director makes me give it a little bit more leeway. I don't think that the intention is to tackle this with any kind of seriousness, but, would I have liked it if it had have had a bit more of a comedic bent at the end? Maybe.
I think again, and I really, really enjoyed this, but I think, that it ends with just Alex opening the gift that Becky brought forward, and it's a friendship necklace, and then she, like, recoils, and that's kind of the end of it, It's like, oh, okay, so, like, there's not going to be a punchline to this. It's just, like, this is it. I will say that Zara's IMDb profile, the first sentence goes, he is an LGBTQ writer who has a passion for telling poppy, character-driven stories that are female and queer-focused.
Mm-hmm, correct.
That's good.
Definitely see it. He apparently has a Christmas Hallmark horror movie coming out on Sci-Fi this year called Letters to Satan Claus, and I watched the trailer, and it looks similarly campy and amusing, and it's poking the bear a little bit. So I think this is very much his style.
Very much so, and I watched that same trailer, and there were a lot of comments saying, oh my god, it looks like shit, and then someone had to step in and be like, it is parodying the Hallmark movie.
It's intentionally silly and vampy. Like, I don't understand how people don't understand that.
Yeah, that's the thing with comedies and parodies, though. I mean, I don't know. People don't get horror comedy, because one of the comments was literally like, "Is this supposed to be scary?" ? And I was like,
oh
"No." Funny little credit too. And this is, did you know that the detective who has like her little scene at the end of the film with the body bag, she is credited. Her character name is Detective Hargitay.
Oh my god! Yes, I love it. See that? There we go. Yes. I will also say that as a person of a certain age, I really appreciated when she comes out and she's like, these kids don't understand who the Hamburglar is? Fuck, I feel old. And I just thought,
yes.
A, that's funny, but B, that costume is genius.
It's so good.
It's like, oh, I could be sexy Hamburglar next year. Yes.
Yes. No, I'm telling you, when I lose my COVID weight, I'm going to do like a sexy, like your typical gay Instagram outfit, your Insta-gay outfit.
There we go. On your Peloton bike is what you're saying.
I'm going to build a Peloton bike with straps that I can put on, and that's going to cover my penis and my butt.
Right. Okay. So ride a Peloton, save a cowboy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Joe, would you watch a feature-length version of this?
To be honest, if it was an anthology in this vein with musical interludes, yes.
Oh my god, that would be so cool. But like, okay, so would the theme of the anthology, so would all of the shorts be like obsession based, or possessed based? Ooh, it could be different takes on the word possessed.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, and
because really this is about possession, right? Like she wants to possess this other person, and she may also be possessed.
Oh yeah, because she's referring to herself as possessed, but you're right. Yeah, like use all the different definitions for possessed and give all these filmmakers like, hey, it's like ABCs of death, but instead of like, one letter of the alphabet per kills, it's one definition of possess per short. You can make like 5 shorts out of it.
Yeah. And
they all have to be musicals.
Yeah. Absolutely. More musical horror for me, s'il vous plaît.
I am right there in the same boat with you. I'm always here for musical horror. Unfortunately, they are two genres that their audiences don't often mix.
This is true. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think then that'll be it. So, listeners, let us know what you thought of Possessed. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. But on that note, we can cross out Possessed.
Yes, and cross out microqueers.
Disgusting Podcast Network. Home of creepy. For disturbing and terrifying creepypastas. SCP archives. Weekly full cast storytelling. The Pora Queers. Genre commentary from an LGBTQ perspective. And the Boo Crew. For horror-centric interviews. Listen free wherever you stream audio and at bloodydisgusting.com/podcasts.
It was late in the afternoon when the professor and I took our way towards the east, whence I knew Jonathan was coming.
Jonathan Harker has asked me to note this, as he says he is hardly equal to the task, and he wants an exact record kept.
Dear Madam Mina, I have read your husband's so wonderful diary. Strange and terrible as it is true. I will pledge my life on it.
God preserve my sanity, for to this I am reduced. Safety and the assurance of safety are things of the past.
I am in hopes that I shall see more of you at Castle Dracula.
Listen to Regarding Dracula wherever you listen to podcasts, or find us online at bloody.fm.